Jeez. Thought you would be too gentlemanly for us.
Anyway, you never know.
There's this giant.
Speed, 23 miles per hour. Average speed, 17 miles per hour. Distance, 3 miles, 300 yards. Battery, 64%. Time 5:57 p.m. Tour recording active. Data logging active.
Big bones. She was a largely white lady. I couldn't understand who she was because she was on John Stewart's show with a really terrible show talking about how he used to really admire him. They were talking about racism and just saying all white people are all racist, and like shut up whitey and listen about racism. And it turned out this woman who actually shut Andrew Sullivan down, like said, I'm going to shut you down. And
She said that?
Yeah. So who the hell do you think you are? Shut you down. I'm going to shut you down. And she did it, and she said, excuse me, but if like white men solve racism, we've had what? She thought she was so damn smart. Turns out she's the person that I thought was a legendary figure that didn't exist, like a mythical figure. She's the person who does these dinner parties where she charges rich white ladies $4,000 to come to dinner at her white woman's house and be lectured to about their racism.
4,000 a day? That's good hustle.
Good hustle. But I always thought that this large lady was the mythical beast in question. And there she was, like shouting down Andrew Sullivan. And anyhow, but no, I think this, it's got really, really ugly. Because, as you say, I mean, there's been racism throughout American history, and it'd be idiotic to deny it. But it's not the story of America.
Right.
Like, racism is a part of the story, but it's not the story. It's the same thing. Like slavery is part of the story of America, no doubt about it. But it's not the only story of America. And one of the things I became interested in was like why this race hustle ended up going through everything. So it's now gone through all of our understanding of the past. And in America, this is just catastrophic because like everybody in the American family was living at a time where slavery was normal everywhere in the world. And so yes, they were complicit in slavery, for sure. Everybody was complicit in slavery. And every society was doing it, which is no excuse for it. But there's this American version of this which now is like, this is the only lens through which we can look at the past. Everybody on the north side and the south side of the Civil War now gets the same treatment. I mean, like Abraham Lincoln, who obviously was until this generation one of the great figures in American history, literally gets pulled down from his place across America. And it's all for the same accusations. It's all for accusations of racism or slavery. In Britain and Europe, it's about colonialism. And it becomes this weird thing where white people are the only people who acted badly in history, therefore you have to punish them now. One of the points of writing The War on the West was to warn against this, because I just think it has such catastrophic consequences, because there's obviously going to be a blowback. There's no way people are going to put up with that.
The problem is people are terrified to push back against it, because when they do, it seems as if they're minimizing racism. And that's what they're scared of. They're scared of this idea that you're making light of racism, or you're denying the significance of racism, the prevalence of racism.
Yeah.
You deny, whatever it is. Like, people don't want to do that. It's too scary. Those waters are too fraught with peril.
But I mean, for instance, one of the things I get into in the book is like, what do you do with this idea of guilt? But it's become this massive subject. It's hereditary. Sure, and people should. I don't have any guilt against it. People did before me, or people who happen to look like me. I'm like, I'm in America. I have no responsibility for white people in America or in the 90s. And discovered it. I was writing off the boat, and I also I resent it, and I notice how many other people are starting to resent it too, because you also get these follow-on ones like the pathologizing points. These things like white rage. There's a specific
Safety margin, too low.
rage only white people can have or get. And of course, General Mark Milley, another unimportant man, Chairman of Chief of Staff, he talked about white rage.
When he did that, what do you think was going on there? That was strange
It's
to me.
really strange.
Because, first of all, like, why is someone in the military doing that? Like, what
To
is...
keep his job. But those positions in the military are so they are just to get to those positions.
And you think that it's because the Democrats are in charge, and he's in his position, and so...
And he's white.
And he had to...
He had to make sacrifice and say, this is something I'm very interested in, white rage. I want to find out. You know, and but this like pathologizing of it, white tears. Do all that stuff.
Yeah,
like,
white.
I'm like, imagine if we actually started talking. It was such a horrible idea. But like, if we actually talked in the culture about like black rage as being a separate pathology,
Yeah.
or black tears, or black women's. Oh, that's just black women's tears.
Right.
It'd be really, really ugly. And then the thing of privilege, which is one of the ones which I've come to resent the most. The accusation, I mean, there's all sorts of reasons we have privilege in our lives, and it's pretty much impossible to break down where and how it comes to. I mean, who's privileged and who isn't. There are people you look at and you think must be privileged, and actually, so you can't judge other people's lives like that. But when people talk about people in the past having white privilege, I was like, my ancestors didn't have white privilege. They didn't benefit from slavery or colonialism. Most of my ancestors were sitting on a remote Scottish island trying to eke out a tiny bit of farmland with a couple of sheep. And a couple of times in the 20th century, the government came and asked them to come to war, and they went to war and got drowned at sea.
That expression, white privilege, is I don't think it's looking at the problem. The problem is actual racism. The problem is not people who don't experience racism. It's their fault. So even if you do